all there. I didn't make those slides. They're out there because the information I'm about to discuss on blockchain is available out there. The very first thing I want to convey to you is that I know very little about blockchain. I'm a student. If you're here hoping that I would give you a monologue and you will become an expert at blockchain, I think you wasted your time. I'm here to learn, and I'm here to convey to you what I have learned over the last 2 years following reading what somebody has written and following what the Bitcoin, how many of you know what Bitcoin is? Everybody. And how that technology has been proven. Anybody has read Satoshi Nakamoto's paper? Read. Satoshi Nakamoto's paper is on the left. You've got your cell phones here. Go ahead, Google it. Name is Satoshi Nakamoto. Nobody knows who he is. Whether he's a man or a woman, group of people, professors, some group of people, nobody knows who he is. He wrote an 8-page paper. My personal opinion is that 8-page paper will change the world as we know it. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to talk to you about how excited I am about this technology. So when Dr. Arshad told me that he has a SIG group, I volunteered to come over here. Of course, he could find me the speaker, so he gave me a chance. The main thing about blockchain technology is that not only that it's new, but you're at the same level where Americans and Japanese and Koreans and Indians and Chinese are. What that does is it gives you an opportunity to leapfrog and learn a technology that is where internet was. Today in 2018, blockchain is where internet was in 1993. In 1993, I, as a not very bright and young person, went and tried to build security on internet. We couldn't get funding. We were thrown out of every single conference room in Silicon Valley. That no one will do serious business, especially money transfer using internet. We built the first VPN chip. By the way, how many of you know the term VPN was actually coined by a Pakistani? The first VPN accelerator was built by a Pakistani. His name is Raghib. He is the CEO of Cavium Networks that was just sold for $5 billion. $5 billion. He's a graduate of NED. The reason these kinds of opportunities come around and you can exploit them is not happenstance, not coincidence. There are professors at the universities that write papers, that research in place, do research where nobody has gone before. They do esoteric things that you may not understand them at the very beginning, but it basically enhances the knowledge base. Some student or some engineer or someone who's trying to solve a problem comes across that paper. So a lot of people read Satoshi Nakamoto's paper. Few crazy professors at universities decided they had computers and they would use this blockchain technology to mine bitcoins. I'm not going to go into technologies. I think technology is fairly well understood. You can read up. There was a time at Stanford, there was a restaurant that would give you 1 Bitcoin if you had lunch there, because the Bitcoin was valued at a few cents. So just like you give a coupon, they gave you a Bitcoin. I can't find those receipts. I had lunch a lot of times over there, can't find the receipts. Today, where's Bitcoin today? Anybody know?
10,500.
You're looking, aren't you? 12,000. So if you had invested $100 in Bitcoin in 2014 or before, you would be sitting on a pretty money, right? The reason it has valued so much is because the technology behind it is not broken. So when someone comes up and says, gee, trust me, this technology will not be broken, you can't trust them unless it has proven itself. Today it's been proven that Satoshi Nakamoto's paper describing the double spend cannot be done. Double spend means that you can take the same currency and use it twice. That solution has stood the test of time. So what do we do? This SIG group is basically here to learn and understand and see how you can participate in the future of blockchain. I can put up, I've got a few, do we have a slide? Do you have?
Yes, we have.
Could you put up the doctors? And I'll go very simple. I'm not here to do a monologue where I will tell you what a great work I'm doing. I'm not. I'm simply groping in the dark as well, just like everybody else is. But at least I know that this technology is going somewhere, and I want to be there when it matures.
Screen sharing बंद करें.
Think of it this way. Right now, you will not trust anybody other than a major institution. When you deposit money in the bank, if there was a Kothari bank, you wouldn't go out and put money in there. If there's a Habib bank, you'll go put money in there. Because you have a trust in an institution. You have trust in a single entity. Do you know that banks are cheating you all the time? How many of you think banks are taking advantage of you? See, there you go. His hand goes way up there. In 2008, when the American banking system practically collapsed, Satoshi Nakamoto, this was the key motivator for him to write the paper that banks are taking advantage. Bank system is going to fail eventually because it's based on a trust system. And now that all the transactions are on computers and the computers are online, they can be hacked, right? U.S. State Department is being hacked, right? Dataflex, what is the name of that credit? They have been hacked.
Experian has
been hacked, right? So now if you have digital storage system and the trusted parties themselves cannot be trusted, how do you build a system that would now stand the test of time? So what Satoshi Nakamoto did was, he said, let's not trust anybody. Let's create a trustless system, which means you don't trust anybody. You have to trust the majority. If the majority agrees that this data is correct, that is correct. The majority wins. He then showed you a way how you can create a blockchain technology. He calls it blockchain. You could have called it anything, but blockchain. You can create a storage system that you can never break. Of course, no one trusted him except for the professors at the universities who were playing games with the computers. Today, 2018, almost 10 years since he wrote the paper, no one has been able to break it. Now everybody's waking up and running up the Bitcoin and the Ethereum pricing. So if you think about a trustless system, what are the problems you can solve? Technology is technology, right? So you can have technology, and what do you do with it, right? You have a wheel, what do you do with it? Well, you want to get from point A to point B, you use that wheel in a certain way to get there. I have a very simple example that doesn't require a stretch of your imagination to see how you can apply it. So at least in the US, I think can you go to slide 1?
Yeah, should we go back?
Go back. All right. So I have a daughter-in-law who is a eye surgeon. She's an orthopedic surgeon. And she has to fill out a form every time an insurance company or a hospital or a new law comes up. She has to fill out a form telling them where she graduated from, what kind of internship she's done, what kind of degree she has, what kind of experience she has, and how many things you have to tell about herself before she's approved to work with that insurance company or that hospital or that institution, whatever. And she has to do that every time she changes a job. If your job has changed, you went from hospital 1 to hospital 2, you have to enter this whole thing over again. Doctors per hour value of that time, you can well imagine in the US what would be the value of 1 hour of doctor's time. So a very simple application that I thought of, which if you are, anyone who wants to do it, more power to you. is that you take that information and you put it on blockchain. And it's a distributed system. You can check that doctor's initials one-time entry, and then the control of who looks at that information resides with the owner of information. Right now, the information industry is upside down. Your information is always controlled by somebody else, not you. It's your degree, it's your form, it's your financial information, it's your bank record, and someone else tells you that you're worthy of that? Right? It's an atrocity. When a student graduates from Pakistani University, their degrees are not accepted by the employers. You have to go to HEC, you get a stamp from a clerk. After 5 years or 4 years of hard work, a clerk basically puts a stamp on there saying you're qualified for that degree. It's backwards. You've already paid your dues, you've already paid your money, you've already got educated. So what I'm doing is I'm putting those degrees on blockchain. You can take medical records and put them on blockchain. This gentleman here, who's already done a lot of work in there, his database is not on blockchain. So if one of you wants to take a project as a hackathon project, I'm sure you're going to be following that, so I don't want to go on that one. Very simple. You allow doctors to enter information one time and use it multiple times and give the control to the doctor. So you could create a number, a token for that day. And you say, if you want to be my employer, if you want to be my insurance company, if you want to be my new hospital, here is the code, look it up. And all the information about my going to university or getting an internship or house job or wherever I work would be all there. And within an hour, a day, or a week, you cannot use that information anymore because I now authorized you. So authorization of how information flows will be reversed. It will go back to the owner of information rather than the user of information. And there's the various blocks you can build. I won't go into technology and all that and bore you with it. But that gives you an idea of what kind of projects you can take. We were just having a conversation as to what can you do today in Pakistan. You can build a blockchain that is visible to everyone, which is not secure. We don't need security privacy, which tells you where your product is that you've bought from somewhere. If it is shipped by TCS, you can know whether that product was even shipped by the company you bought it from, whether it has arrived in your city, whether it has arrived on your street, or whether it's lost in the process. You can build a blockchain right now and help companies like Packages Limited. You can go to a big company. If a few of you got together and built a blockchain to track the movement of goods from the time that somebody purchased it till the time it's delivered, you put it on a blockchain, you'll be very successful. These are low-hanging fruits. So there are several applications like that. Why blockchain, right? Why not have it on a server that you can look up from? If you do it on a server, you're now trusting one party. You're trusting TCS to hold that information and inform you when you want to be informed. As opposed to 10 companies who together decide that they will all share that information, put it on a blockchain, and if one server goes down or if one server gets hacked, the other 9 are still standing. That's the basic idea behind blockchain. It's a distributed ledger. So now you don't trust one entity, you don't trust anybody, you trust everybody, which means a majority says this data is correct, then it's correct. Any one of them that changes the data will not match the rest of the servers, in which case you'll be the odd man out, you'll be rejected by the majority, that that server is not to be trusted anymore. Then you have to rebuild yours. Okay. We're looking for the one about university degree. Yeah, well, actually just leave it. Any questions so far? Is this making any sense or? Yes, no? Should I get out of here? Not yet, okay. One of the things that I'm excited about is because every 10, 20 years, as I said, new technology comes around, I want to be part of it. That doesn't mean that I'll be successful in the first thing that I try. The first thing you will try may not work. How many of you know Google was, there were other companies that did search before Google? Can you name one? Name one. Alta Vista. Oh, whoa. Somebody is knowledgeable on it. Anything else? Ask. Anybody else? No, Bing came afterwards. Jeeves, that asked Jeeves. So the case is, it's not the first one that will be the big, no, they all were also successful, but not as much as Google was. Google thought things through and then created a technology that basically is today. Twitter, for example, how simple a technology is it? You take 150 words, you store them, and anybody who wants to follow you can follow you, and they get the thing, and 24 hours later it becomes stale. Very simple technology. But all of those were possible because the underlying layer of internet was there. Imagine a Google without internet. Imagine Uber without internet. I'm actually an expert at building wrong things at the wrong time. Truly am. I built a book reader before internet by putting PC MCMA card per book that had to be burned on per book, and we lost a lot of money. We also built a GPS system for the cars before internet maps came around. We digitized all the map of every city. Now imagine if you have to digitize the map of every city in the world, how could you make any money, right? So obviously that was not the right time. But the underlying technology of internet has enabled thousands of different businesses that would not have been possible had internet not been there. Now comes blockchain. There will be thousands of businesses, thousands of solutions that you have not even imagined yet. And that won't come out of labs at big companies. It won't come out of IBM. They won't come out of Microsoft. Most of the technology that Microsoft, IBM, and all these guys peddle today, they've bought companies like ours, small companies, and then produced, and they use their technology. So you have an opportunity. If you learn, understand, and get involved in the blockchain infrastructure, that you will get an idea that would basically provide a service that heretofore was not possible. So what am I doing right now? If I'm telling you to get involved, what am I doing personally? I'm actually building the first blockchain degree verification system at my expense. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm working with 2 universities. Everybody else said, "Ye nahi ho sakta." I went to 2 universities. The first 2 that said yes, I'm working with them. We will take your degrees for those universities. We'll take the fees that they paid. We'll take the attendance that the classes that they attended. We'll take the recommendation letters that their teachers wrote. We'll put them all on blockchain. We'll empower that student to go out and tell someone, "Here is a number, check me out. I'm a graduate of this university. I have these are my transcripts. This is the date I paid my fees." No one can say that degree is not correct. Even politicians can have the degrees checked out. Most of them would not make it. So as a test case, we're building a blockchain system, and it's not that difficult. Technology is not that difficult, really. If you are a technologist, how many of you are computer science? All of them. I'm in trouble. You don't start asking technical questions. I only have. Key is that you can get together and build an infrastructure. How many of you have heard of Hyperledger? Ethereum. Oh, guys are buying Ether, aren't you? They're all available to you. They're free software, free available. All you have to do is use your imagination and put them in there, right? The other thing I would be doing is, if I'm successful in convincing one large corporation to in 10 locations, and everybody had a copy of those degrees. So if one university's system gets hacked or goes down, the other 9 will provide you with that. The give is that not only if you want your data to be held by other 9 universities, you must also put the other 9 universities' data on your circuit. That would be a challenge for 10 universities to agree to each other to put their data on it. But we'll solve that problem when we get around to it. I think I'm going to, how's my time? I think I've taken enough of your time. I think I'll stop here. If you have any questions, please feel free. Yes, please.
Since you said that the data from the other 9 universities need to be stored on the same server,
Yeah.
Does that not make redundancy an issue?
Redundancy is by design. Yes. I
Is
want my
that
data.
not bad?
No, it's good. Why is it bad? Who told you? Who said redundancy is bad?
Our database teacher?
What can I say? Dr. Abul Kalam, NED's last Vice Chancellor, said, and I quote, young students at the age of 18, when they come out of inter-science exam, are at the peak of their intellectual excellence. Universities in Pakistan systematically destroyed that intelligence over 4 years of time. Not my word, end quote. Not my word, not taking credit for it. Our system is based upon, and this could be a long discussion, I'd be here all night.